Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the last class of the week for, I think, for many of you guys. Hope you guys had a good week so far. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. Hopefully that will change in about 10 days. Okay, so we have a test on Monday. And so I need to talk to you guys a little bit about that. That's not where I wanted to start. Okay, well, hang on a second. Let me get my act together. There we go. Okay, that's where I wanted to be. Now, can you guys hear me? Somebody give me a thumbs up or something. Awesome,
Yeah.
thanks, guys. Um,
Hey, Dr. Bull. I think you're on mute, bro. I can't hear you.
Mr. Robert, you are mute.
All right.
okay, now I'm on mute. Now I'm on mute. Okay, come back to where the important thing. Well, first important thing, no class on Monday. You all got that, right? No class on Monday. The other important thing is this is going to be administered through Hawks, just like the just like the website, or just like the practice test. There are 12 people that had that whose temporary access is gone. And their account is deactivated. You need to have that fixed by Monday. Now, if you have financial aid, then what you need to do is you need to go to the business office, because right now, whatever credit was in the bookstore, it's gone. So you need to go to the business office and purchase Hawks. They'll be through the bookstore. They will give you a license number, and then you can basically put that into Hawks. You're good to go. If you are not on financial aid and you had to purchase it directly through Hawks, not through the bookstore, it will save you some money. However, having said that, you need to be prepared to both academically and logistically to take the test. Specifically, what does that mean? It basically means that it basically means that you have to have Hawks active. Have it active. Having it deactivated is not an excuse for not being able to take the test, as a lot of people in my Tuesday and Thursday class are finding out the hard way. As far as the test is concerned, it opens at 8. It closes at 11:55. You have any time during that day to take the test. Okay. I would encourage you not to start it anytime after 10 o'clock. Okay. Why? Because the test closes at 11:59. If you started your test, say, at 10:30, I'm sorry, 11:55. If you started at 10:30 p.m., that means you only have 25 minutes to take the test, because it will shut down at 11:55. Once you start it, you will have 50 minutes to complete it, basically one class period. The test has 12 questions. It is a closed notes, closed book test. You are allowed one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper as a cheat sheet, and you can write anything you want on it. Having said that, there is something in in your canvas that might be of value to you. And you can find it by going into your course. Okay, let me pretend I'm a student. Okay, and then hitting modules, going down to, wait a second. Okay, I put it in the wrong spot. I need to move it. Going down to test 1 prep. And I have a formula sheet there for you that contains, okay, fine. If you're going to be that way, I'm just going to download you. That's going to contain all of the sheets, all of the formulas from section 3.1. Now, what you, so basically the formula for simple interest, for temperature and conversion, and so forth. Now, what you can do, I don't know if I can do it on this particular, can I annotate? Let's find out. What you could do once you download the sheet is you can actually write down the equations that we're going to be solving for. No, I can't. That we're going to be solving for. For example, here's a simple interest one. If you see this problem, you're going to be solving for P. So you can write down the equation P equals I over RT, because you know that's going to be part 2 of the problem. Same thing with here and here. You can write down the equation in terms of F, in terms of S, in terms of W. So when you're taking the test, you will have basically everything you need to figure out parts 1 and 2. Because remember, part 1 is select the equation. Part 2 is to rearrange the equation for the unknown. For the given equation, it will always be the same. For example, if you have the perimeter of a rectangle, this will always be the equation. In part 2, you're always going to be subbing for W, so write it down so you have it handy. That will help you out. And once again, this is just one sheet of the 8.5 by 11. You can then use the other sheet for anything else you might find of value. Okay, so those are the parameters for the exam. Big thing is, how can I enforce that? I can't, because you're going to be wherever you are doing whatever you're doing. So I am going to trust you not to compromise your integrity. Just remember that integrity is probably the one thing that you always have. That will always be with you, and is primarily, in my opinion, the basic key to success. If people can trust you, you're going to be successful. If they can't, you won't. Don't compromise your integrity. Please do it the way that I ask you to. Okay, and what else do I want to say about this? For the rest of the course, I'm going to cover some problems. How many? I'm going to cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 problems that I believe will serve you well. Okay, any questions so far? You all still hear me? Okay, moving on. Okay, let me start off with a couple of questions. I don't want it like this just yet. I'm going to go ahead and bring you down, bring you over, delete all this stuff. And let's start off with my first problem. Oh, that's why it looks weird. There we go. And that one is going to look like this. (9.6y) minus 8.6y plus 1.1, that was the thing I forgot from last class, is equal to negative 6.7 plus 7.6. Okay, and this is a 2.3b type of a problem, one of the tougher ones that you have, or at least for that section. Okay, so notice here that we have like terms. We have like terms here, we have like terms here. So the first thing we need to do is simplify by combining like terms. It turns out that 9.6y minus 8.6y conveniently is equal to 1 times y. So we have y plus 1.1 is equal to negative 6.7 plus 7.6, which is equal to 0.9. Okay, so in this particular thing, we want to isolate y. There's a term here, 1.1. It's just a constant. So we need to get rid of that term, and we can do that by subtracting 1.1. What we do on one side, Got to do on the other side. These cancel. All I have over here is y, and 0.9 to minus 1.1. If you're not sure, that's why God made calculators. 0.9 minus 1.1. 0.9 minus 1.1, negative 0.2. Okay, so that is our first problem. Of course, if you went and checked, you would get the correct answer. Any questions? Okay, please, if you do have questions, you can either interrupt me or you can either interrupt me or you can just say something in the chat. I am paying attention to the chat. Okay, next one is a 2.3 C rats C type of a problem, and that one involves a fraction. Negative 6 divided by 5u is equal to negative 6. Okay, now in this one, we're dividing out a coefficient. And basically, there are 3 scenarios that you're going to have when you're dividing out a coefficient. One is the coefficient is going to be an integer. Okay. The other one, the coefficient might be a decimal. The other one is the one we have here, the coefficient might be a fraction. Okay, now if your coefficient happens to be an integer or a decimal, all you need to do is divide both sides by that coefficient. That's it. Okay. Now, however, if it is a fraction, what you want to do, it's mathematically the exact same thing, but think about this as multiplying it by both sides by its reciprocal. So here we have 5/3. Its reciprocal is just basically this flipped around, 3 over 5. 3 over 5. Okay, this will give you the coefficient of 1. That's what you're looking for. And then for this one, 21 times 3 is 63 divided by 5, and then we can use our calculator to see if that is a reduced fraction. Okay, and the way we can do that is to second that FD button, and that tells you the fraction's already reduced. So for this particular problem, we want to multiply this by the reciprocal of this coefficient, and the reciprocal also has to include the sign. So we're going to multiply this by negative 5/6. Okay. If you don't, then we're going to have negative u. If you forget the sign, we'll have negative u, and we'll have to take another step. So this right here is going to be equal to 1. So when we're done, once again, if we're multiplying by negative 5/6 here, gotta do the exact same thing over here. Okay, so this is going to be equal to 1. So we just simply have u. Over here, if you're, a lot of you can look at that and see, the answer is going to be 5, which is perfectly cool. Okay, if you're not sure, just use your calculator. Negative 6 times negative 5 divided by 6 is equal to 5. And there you go. And that will be your answer. Any questions about that? All right, moving on to 2.4. So that is basically where we have multiplication and division. We have coefficients and an extra term, but they're all on the same side. For example, here, and an example of that would be negative 7 times u plus 5 is equal to negative 15. Okay, once again, our job is to isolate u. Here we use addition to move terms. Multiplication to remove to reduce coefficients. Reduce them to 1. Okay, here we have an extra term without a u in it. We want to get that to the other side. That is a +5. So we want to subtract 5 from there. What you do on one side, got to do on the other side. All right, these will cancel. We will have -7u, -15 minus 5, -20. Okay, now we want to get rid of this coefficient. That coefficient is a -7. So do that from both sides. These cancel, and we have u is equal to -20 divided by -7. Now, a lot of you will realize that, you know, the negatives will cancel and you'll have 20 over 7, and that there are no common factors. If you're not sure, -20 divided by -7. There we go. Enter. Second, this FD thingy right here, enter. That's your answer. That is a reduced fraction. That is how you can actually tell if your fraction is reduced, or make sure, or find the reduced fraction. Okay, any questions about that? All right, and that brings us to 2.5, section 2.5, where we have equations on both sides, and we also possibly have grouping symbols. So here we have 3 times 3y plus 2 is equal to 3y plus 18. So the first thing we need to do is simplify. Part of simplifying is probably is getting rid of these grouping symbols, and we can do that by using the distributive property. Remember, a times b plus c is equal to ac, dc, no, plus a, I'm sorry, a times b. I'm thinking of Highway to Hell. I'm thinking of AC/DC, the band right now. A times b plus a times c. Okay, that's what we're going to do here. 3 times 3y, 9y. 3 times 2, 6 is equal to 3y plus 18. Now we want to move terms around. We want to move them around in such a way that all the terms of the y are on one side, all the terms without a y are on the other side. However, we want to do this in such a way that our coefficient is positive. And the way we can do that is by subtracting out the smallest term, which happens to be 3y, or the smallest term with a y in it, which happens to be 3y, or the term with the smallest coefficient. Okay, I'm killing myself with the descriptions. So we're going to subtract 3y here. Got to do the exact same thing on the other side. These will cancel. 9y minus 3y, that is 6y plus 6 is equal to 18. Next, just got to get rid of the other term over there. Minus 6, minus 6. Okay, those cancel. We have 6y, 18 minus 6 is 12, and then just divide out the coefficient. Divided by 6, divided by 6, these will cancel. Y is equal to 2. Okay, any questions about that? All right, I have 3 more problems I want to go over, but I want to do them in Hawks. So let me get that up and running. Actually, should already be up. I just need to do that. No, yeah, that's actually what I need to do. So let me bring this over. Let me do this. And actually, let me go ahead and just do this in the test. Don't want to do that one. Oh, wait, I have to sign it again. My bad. In that case, I'm not going to do it in the test. I want to do a 3.1 problem. Actually, I think I will do it in the test. Okay, so it's going to be a web test problem that I want to do. I've already done that problem. Let's see, there's another one here. 16. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so for this one, we have, after 4 years, Larry's account earned $1,500 in interest. If the interest rate in decimal form is 0.05, how much did Larry initially invest? So now we have words here like investment, interest, that kind of stuff. If you go to your cheat sheet, which I hope you will use, actually, let's not look at that one. Let's look at, what is it? Well, I guess we're going to use this one. Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and use this one. If you look at this cheat sheet right here, you'll notice here in wrong way. That's better. Well, no. There we go. That's one. Here we have interest earned, the same kind of letter. So this is the formula. So that kind of tells you that this is the formula that we want to use. I is equal to PRT. Okay. So with that in mind, I can come over here, click that, and I am good to go. Next. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to give you any feedback. You need to go with that. It's not going to give you any feedback, and there's no return previous answer button here, but you can go back and you can go ahead and write that down. Okay. Now, over here, part 2, it says without substitution, solve the formula chosen in the previous step for the unknown variable in terms of the known variables. Exact same thing you had to do when you do this homework. We want to solve for the unknown variable, which is what Larry initially invested. That happens to be P. We want to solve for P. Remember, P is being divided by it's being multiplied by RT, so we want to divide by R times T. R times T. These will cancel, and we will have I divided by R times T is equal to P. Okay, that's what goes here. Now, keep in mind that, that's what I was looking for. Keep in mind that whenever you have this problem, you're always going to be solving for this. So there's no reason why you can't write down P equals I divided by RT right here. That would be the answer to 1. This would be the answer to part 2. If you do that for every single formula, you have in your hot little hands basically the answer to part 1 and part 2 whenever you encounter this problem. Okay, they'll make life a hell of a lot easier for you. And if you're not sure how to do it, you've gone through it in homework. You can review that homework, or you can actually just work out the problems again. I, of course, would encourage the latter because it's a better mental exercise. Nonetheless, your answer here is going to be fraction. Let me use the keypad to do this. Fraction up here is going to be P over RT equals I. Okay, or you can put it, or you can do it P. I have that backwards. I'm sorry. It's I over RT equals P. Okay, once again, you can put it in like this. You can put it in like this. Hawks should not care. And if it does care, well, then I'll fix it when I go over the tests. Okay, and now in part 3, that is where you put into numbers. Remember, I here is 1,500. Right there. T is 4 years. All right, R is 0.05. So P is going to be 1,500 divided by 0.055 times 4. Now, the way you might want to do that is to put in the denominator first into your calculator, which will be 0.05 times 4. All right, and then do 1,500 divided by that number right there. And that will give you 7,500. All right, that's what we go in here. This is what I don't want you to do. Okay, another way to do this is like this. Do 1,500 divided by parenthesis 0.05 times 4. Give you the exact same number. What I don't want you to do is this. 1,500 divided by 0.05 times 4. That's going to give you the wrong answer. And that's not the right answer, okay? Because your calculator interprets that as 1,500 divided by 0.05 times 4. Okay, so don't do that. That would be bad. Okay, any questions about that? All right, I have 2 more problems I want to show you. They are relative to section 3.4. I'm going to see if I can find them here. If not, I'll just go over to the homework part. Well, actually, they should be all like 1 of 2 parts. Okay, let's try 3. Yeah, okay, this is one of them. This is one of the ones I want to work on you with. Okay, so this one is a compound inequality. And remember, in compound inequalities, we are trying to isolate the variable of interest, but in the middle. And what you do on one side, you have to do on the other 2 sides. Here we have -10 is strictly less than -2z minus 2, which is strictly less than 12. Okay, once again, we want to isolate z in the middle, which means that we only want to have terms with a z in it in the middle. Right now, we have a term with a without a z in it, this one. Okay, we need to get rid of it. We can do it by adding the opposite, +2. What you do on one side, have to do on the other 2 sides. Adding vertically, these cancel. -10 plus 2 is -8. Strictly less than -2z, which is strictly less than 14. 12 plus 2. Oh, I forgot the z. Hang on a second. Okay, next we want to divide. Next we have a negative coefficient. There's no way around that, so we have to divide by -2. Since we are dividing by a negative number, since we're dividing by a negative number, the inequality symbols have to change direction. So we're going to look like this now. These are going to cancel. We're going to have z. Okay, now over here, we are going to have -8 divided by -2, +4. 14 divided by -2, -7. All right, so this is our answer in algebraic notation. They want your answer in interval notation. Now, how do you do that? Well, the first thing you do is you start with the smaller number, okay? Now here, typically the smaller number is over here, but not in this particular case. Whenever you divide a compound inequality by a negative number, the smaller number ends up being over here. It happens to be -7. All right, the symbol associated with the -7 is a strict inequality, parenthesis. The other number is a 4. Symbol associated with that is a strict inequality, parenthesis. This is your answer. This is the way you would put the answer in. Type in a parenthesis. Notice it gives you 2. -7, 4. I have a nasty habit of doing this. It just yells at you. Just hit OK, and you're good to go. Now, there are possibilities that you might get something that looks like this. Or, I mean, depending upon what the problem is. For example, there was that, there'd be a strict, there'd be a non-strict there, or if that's the case, you need to go into the keypad and you need to use these buttons here. That's the only that's how you would solve those things. But anyways, that's the answer here. And then the next part is to plot it. To plot it, once again, if you forgot what you had before, what you can do is just go back. There it is. And notice here that we have parentheses. Okay, so we want to click the icon with 2 parentheses. Okay, and I need to make this bigger so we can see the rest of it. And then this just goes to -7 right there. This goes to 4. And that's all there is to it. Okay, and then I have any questions about that? Okay, then I have one more problem that I want to do. All I have to do is find it. It's going to be an AB problem. Maybe 12. No, it won't be 12. Maybe 10. Yeah, perfect. 10 is what we want to use. Okay, so let me bring this back over. And this is the last of the inequality. This will produce for us an unbounded interval. Here we have 3z, 3x. 3x minus 5 is greater than or equal to -11. Oh, they want this in interval notation too. Okay, so once again, our job here is to isolate x, but since this is a regular inequality, we just want to isolate x on one side of the inequality. Doesn't particularly matter which one, just whatever makes it easiest. So first thing we need to do is get rid of the terms without an x in it. That would be this one right here. To get rid of -5, I need to add 5 to it. If I'm adding 5 here, I need to add 5 here. These will cancel. We will have 3x is greater than or equal to -11 minus 5. That's weird. Is going to be equal to -16. Okay, and then finally, get rid of the coefficient. Since it's a positive coefficient, we don't need to worry about the direction of the inequality symbol. These will cancel, and we will have x is greater than or equal to -16 divided by 3. That is a really weird outcome. And that's because I screwed up. Let me back up real quick. Where did I mess up? I kind of screwed up my signs here. Made one of those silly mistakes that you're not supposed to make. I'm going to add 5 here to the 5. My mistake was I subtracted 5 here, which was really kind of stupid. I need to add 5 here as well. That was my mistake. Okay, these will cancel. I will have 3x. It's greater than or equal to, now, -11 plus 5 is equal to -6. Now, how did I know I was making a mistake? Because I was getting an answer that was going to be x is greater than or equal to -16 over 3, which is not a nice, neat answer that I was expecting from Hawks. And that kind of led me to believe that I was doing something wrong. So keep that in mind. If you're getting a number that's kind of like really whacked out, that probably means you made a mistake somewhere. Okay, coming back to here to get rid of the coefficient, divide by that coefficient. These cancel, and we will have x is greater than or equal to -2. This is algebraic notation. They want interval notation, so I need to write this as an interval. Notice that the smallest possible number here is 2. We're looking at all the values x greater than -2. So -2 is the smallest. We have a non-strict inequality. That's a bracket. And it's going to go all the way up to infinity. And since it's an infinity, it gets a parenthesis. This is the answer that they want here. Okay, so how can we do that? Well, go into your keypad. Now, there's no way you can do that from the keyboard. For example, if I try to type in a bracket, it's going to give me 2. If I type in a parenthesis, it's going to give me 2. And it won't even let you put in a brace. So to do that, I need to basically note, I need to select the icon with a bracket to the left and a parenthesis to the right there. Then I'm going to do -2, comma, and then infinity is right here. Okay. All right, and then that should be our answer. And then next we have to plot it. If you forgot what your answer was, well, once again, now you can always go back. There it is. Notice I have a bracket on the left-hand side, a parenthesis on the right-hand side. That's the icon I want to select. And then I can move the bracket to -2. Well, first I need to make this wider. There we go. The bracket to -2. Come on, there we go. Bracket to -2. And then the parenthesis all the way over here. And that's it. That will be the answer for that. And that is all that I have for this class. Once again, for the 12 of you that don't have Hawks activated, get it activated. Okay, having it not activated by Monday is not an excuse as far as I'm concerned. You had 31 days, 21 days to deal with this. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to contact me. I can meet during my regular office hours. I do have them between 8 and 10, or I can schedule a meeting or online over the weekend. As you can see, well, actually you can't see, but you can trust me. I'm not going anywhere. Although I will be at Limestone for a couple hours on Saturday. And outside of that, I am done. I will stay online in case any of you guys have any questions. But outside of that, you are free to sign off and enjoy the rest of your day.